Bye. It's kind of on the meeting.
What'd you make for dinner?
Okay, in the absence of Mayor Vandermeer, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
I don't have my list.
Oh,
Todd,
Wing it.
here, we're all here.
Greg, Sedano,
Here,
Kevin,
Here.
Matt,
Here.
Vern,
Here.
Josh.
Here.
Guess who's back?
You'll join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the state of Nevada,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I would entertain a motion for the election of Mayor Pro Tem Alderman Vern Turville.
So moved.
Second motion, seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Alderman, sir, come on up. While they're sitting down, is there any declaration to take record?
It was just. Yeah, right.
That would be exciting.
Public comments? None. Officers? Only, Mr. Baker?
Yes, sir. So, police department has involved in community activities this month. Northside Elementary is taking tour of the Morrison Fire Department on October sixth. So officers assist with draft direction and, crossing staff over so students made their way safely across Lincoln. The police chief's, Whiteside had a meeting, rubbed upcoming training for the year, to meet our state mandates required. So we're prepping for that. October 11th, Morrison Police and Fire assisted the Morrison High School with their fire drill, make sure things went well and went safe. And in the community here, October 18th, Officer Simmons participated in the Morrison High School Career Fair. He provided a talk to the students about career in law enforcement and answered many questions for the students. And of course, this Saturday, we have the Halloween parade and Fall Fest occurring. And it will be there on Main Street, and we'll be assisting with traffic direction and closing the streets. And of course, we have the upcoming trick or treat coming up here real soon on the 31st. So officers will be available for that and out and about and handing out candy to the kids. And of course, we are still taking applications for the 2 open spots that we have at the police department for free. And that's all I have.
Have we had any applicants?
2.
Two. Perfect. We
Applications.
only need two. Yeah, okay.
There are 2
Okay,
applications.
all right. Enough said. Pedro, do you ever reach out to criminal justice at SOC and see if they have any good
At
students?
where?
At Sauk Valley Community College, they got a law enforcement program.
I have not reached out to them.
It might
we've
give
been
you a couple more
advertising.
apps.
Yeah, I've been advertising and talking to the guys and passing the word around that anybody is interested.
Yeah,
But yeah, we probably heard this week, we call, see if anybody's
yeah, yeah.
interested in doing that.
I know you probably have to pony up for the training then,
So, yeah,
academy, but
right, we do. If somebody is fresh,
Yeah.
we do have to pay for the academy,
Yeah.
unless they're lateral transfer, then of course they're already certified.
right.
Then we won't have to worry about that. But
Yeah.
If we have to, so if we have to train somebody, at some point, everybody has to jump.
Right.
And start along.
Right.
Any other questions? Malcolm, do you have any other comments?
No, sir, I have nothing to add to my written report that I sent out on Friday.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Council meetings number 1, minutes from October 10th meeting, bills payable. Treasurer's report for September and mayor appointments for library board trustee, historic preservation commission and planning and zoning. Any questions, anything? Any discussion? Okay.
Motion to approve.
second,
Okay, motion and second, roll call, please.
Todd,
Here, or no, yes.
Harvey,
Oh, threw me off. Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Sedano,
yes,
Kevin,
Yes.
Matt, yes, Vern,
Yes.
Josh.
Yeah.
Unanimous.
Nothing. Items for consideration, possible action. Number one, nothing was removed from consent agenda. Number two, ordinance 2313, agreement with IML, minimum contributions. Mr. Melton, you got
Yeah,
comments
I'll
on
just touch on this. So this is new for us this year because our annual premium has just peaked just over 100,000 for the year, and through IML Risk Management Association, once your premium hits 100,000, you have the option to participate in their minimum maximum contribution program. As I explained, there's a little risk involved. We save essentially 10% by paying the minimum contribution for our coverage. And we just run that risk on our claims that we submit on an annual basis. The last 7-year track record is we've been well below the minimum. And so if we have another average year, it should be a good financial move, but I won't hide the fact that there's risk, and if we go over that with claims, then we would top out maximum at, I believe it was like 122,000, which gives us about a risk of about $30,000 if we have that many claims. But like I said, last 7 years track record that they maintain records for, we've always been well below that. So this ordinance, so just so we understand the process here, this is just an ordinance to approve being enrolled in the contribution program. And then the next, if you approve it, the second, or number 3, the renewal of the program is either way. It's just, if you approve the ordinance, then we're approving the insurance coverage at 90,000 and some odd change. And if you don't approve the ordinance, then we would just enroll as we usually do and pay the regular premium, which is just a little over 100,000. And they're both stated in the attached information I provide you in the packet to include the comparisons over the last 7 years.
So we're betting on not having a big claim that year.
This next year.
Yeah.
Calendar year 24, we're hoping we have just another average year like the last 7, and we can save ourselves 10%, $10,000.
Going from 100 to 90.
Yes,
But if we do, then we go from 90 to 120.
up to, we would max out at 122.
Oh, that's a max out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the max out, but it wouldn't be, if we go over, it wouldn't be automatic 122, it would just be any claims
Oh,
that were paid up to that point.
So in our packet, when we're looking at this sheet, the from year to year,
What page are you talking about?
like
I
page
was looking at page
25,
35.
25, okay, I just wanted to.
so like in year, for instance, year 2018, our total paid was $9,121, correct? Page 26.
You're on 26?
Just a point of reference. So for that year,
For that year, for 18,
we only paid 9,100.
yes,
So if I go to so every year, like 2019, we paid 45, correct? That's on 28. Page 28. Right?
yeah, we paid 44.8.
Yep, so 20 is 39, and then we dropped from 21 to 6,500.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so in 22, we paid 0. Is that true? Or is that this year?
0 claims.
6 claims, total pay, 0. That's on page 32.
That's what it shows. We didn't have any claims in 22.
But it shows number of claims 6, but. That's what I was curious.
So what are you saying then?
Okay,
Well, it says we have said 6 claims, so we didn't pay anything on the 6 claims.
Right, they were all
Yep,
closed
okay.
for other reasons and nothing
Okay.
was paid out on. Because some people, because claims go against us. Basically, Joe Smith trips on the sidewalk and claims that that's the city's fault and he wants to file a complaint with our insurance
Sure.
company. And our carrier says, sorry, no, and they deny it, so nothing's paid out.
Okay,
So, yeah, that's what type of claim
Okay.
possibly was in
so, okay, good.
22, but nothing was paid out in 22.
So like the numbers that Tom was going off of in 21, it was 6,500. That amount would have to be more than 90,000 to
Right,
bump us to the max.
Like our chances.
Yeah. I mean, the highest one was the 40 some. Otherwise, we're
Yeah.
all the wall.
Right?
I'd like the, doing the 90,000, say the 10% and just,
It's an annual thing, right?
yeah, this is the annual.
yeah, because you're only going up to what, from 90 to. And then once you get over the 100, then you're paying whatever, up to the maximum 125,
122,
122.
yeah, so somewhere around there, yeah. There's just, yeah, there's a risk of
Yeah.
about 30% there.
And we haven't even close. Now granted, the cost nowadays are a lot more than they were before, but still,
I think we'd be safe going with the
I believe,
one that
I
you
agree.
recommended.
Would be two separate, you guys said, two separate. ones?
Yeah, you would approve, you would act on the ordinance first, and then we would. So,
can we get a motion?
Go ahead, John.
I'll make a motion to act on the ordinance 2313
Second,
agreement for the minimum maximum.
second.
Okay. A roll call, please.
We don't need it because there's not money involved,
yeah,
Yeah,
well, not in this particular one, there's not, no.
so then it's twice.
Just a motion by, all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Okay. We'll go on to number 3 then, renewal of the Illinois Municipal League Risk Management Program for 2024, pages 18 through 36. So basically what we just talked about.
Yeah, you'll be approving the our coverage at 90,624.
I make a motion, we leave it, or we have our coverage at the 90,624.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion
Wait a second.
and a second. Okay, we have a roll call, please.
Cruz,
yes,
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Zeideman,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
Tickler,
Yes.
Brookner,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, number 4, engineering agreement proposal, water system improvements. Phase 4, page 37 through 49.
Yeah. This is our proposal for engineering services for Willard Hoffman to begin the process of our phase 4, which is in our water infrastructure plan for next year, which will be a combination of a portion of it coming out of the end of this fiscal year, but primarily into fiscal year 25. For those, the phase 4 planning that we're doing, which includes modifications and some improvements to the water tower and the generator for well 4, which is the well at the water tower.
This is what the aerator is gonna be.
This is with the aerator, the fill pipe extension, some other small. If you remember, late last year, about this time, we had an inspection done by Dixon Corporation. And they inspected our water tower and they have some recommendations, nothing serious, but some little recommendations that we'll address too in this phase, so.
Brian, do we, in terms of which engineering firm we use, if it's water, we just generally use Riley Hoffman, is that kind of how it's been, or?
Yes, because they've done all the back work,
Right, it just makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
None of them are cheap, so.
No, yeah, no, I was just thinking about past projects, I'm like, yeah, let's do this, but because it's water.
Yeah, like, the reason why we have Fair Graham on the sewer line projects, because they did all that. All those surveys and all that work several years ago. And that's why they're doing that project, because they have all that work and information that we've already paid for.
I'm not sure how that aerator works. What does it do?
Just
Just stirs it up?
that rotates it and removes the it's an aerator, takes the air out of the water.
It does, so that's why I have air in my. Blowing through my toilet all the time.
Well,
And it-
I'm no engineer.
I
but-
can-
Been wanting to ask about that.
It had an aerator in the old one. And when we redid the tower, they took it out, which I always said they should not have done in the first place, but they did. They're pumping the water from right into the bottom now. Used to be it pumped up a column, went to the top, and boiled over. And I think well 3 ran with some kind of an aerator on it too down there, way back, when they took it out.
Before my time, all right, so. For sure.
Well, no, I think he was here when we took out well 3 at the early time.
Okay. Well, that's the plan, your plan for phase 4. And this would be our engineering work for that, so.
Make a motion to approve the water system improvement phase 4.
Second. All right, since this involves cash. Roll call, please.
Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Zeideman,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
Tickler,
Yes.
Brookner,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Items for discussion and information. Number 1, strategic proposal, NIU Center for Government Studies.
Yeah,
50 through 64.
yes, sir. Just to introduce this, I've heard from several of you, the want and need for a strategic plan. I agree. I think it's time for us to go through that process. I'm not aware of a strategic plan being specifically done by this council. In my time here in Morrison, and nor could I find one anywhere in the records for the city of Morrison. Either way, even if there was, it's been a long time. Things change over time for sure. Our community changes. And I think it's time, well worth the money, I believe, to go through this process. The Northern Illinois University Center for Government Studies provides this service, does this with many municipalities in the tri-state area. Our coordinator, her name is Mel Hendrickson. If you decide to go with this at the next meeting, she lives in Oregon. So it'll be a very convenient working relationship. The process will be probably 8-9 months, which will include their services, and depending if you approve it, and depending if you approve the optional community survey, they do the work, they do the survey. This, in a nutshell, the strategic plan process will include them interviewing each of you, spending time with each of you individually, We will identify some, community stakeholders that they will be interviewed. And then there would be, if you approve a community-wide survey, there will be, a workshop or two or more, which are, public meetings as well. And we will walk through the process. We will determine our strategic plan, that they will walk us through us, and then, at the end, they put the report and the plan together for you. You review it. Make any changes, additions, whatever you want, and then finally, the final step is that you then approve that plan. And then and that kind of guides us through the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years, for our community. And it involves everybody in this room and the community. So, at the next meeting, I hope to have this on the agenda for you to consider and hopefully approve, with the option of, the community survey, an extra $5,500, I believe. And, but I just didn't want to spring it on you and have you act on it. I wanted you to see it, read it, think about it, and, advise me how you like to proceed with it. So.
I'm gonna say that we did one of these 3 years ago with St. Ambrose College.
Oh. You're not talking about Augustana and Waterworks, right, Harvey? Wasn't it Augustana and down at Waterworks or?
Well,
down south of
It was more than Waterworks.
We didn't
No.
pay them to do anything.
What?
The city didn't pay them any.
Yes, we did.
Well, I don't know what that would have
That
been.
was for the parks only though.
Yeah,
I'll say the only thing I remember is, 'cause I was involved in it, was what they had out at MIT.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
probably like
mapping,
five,
That
yeah,
was
it was like a
mapping.
mapping
yeah.
That was-
But that, I mean,
I
it's,
remember what you're saying, but
Yeah.
it's, so Harvey said, we hired Augustana to
Right.
come in and survey our parks and give
That
us a
was just the
report.
parks.
Yeah,
And it wasn't even all of them, it was just Waterworks.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't.
There's
any
some
kind of
report, there's a
strategic
report
plan.
out there.
Right.
They get.
Last I remember, that was when, I don't know, we never got a report. It kept getting delayed, didn't it? for some
We finally
reason?
got a
We got
report,
one.
but
Yeah, but it wasn't,
It was just this past year.
yeah,
It wasn't,
okay,
Yeah, it was like we were over it. It's like we needed to revisit maybe, but
yeah.
it happened so long ago.
Took so long.
but a lot of, I mean. Some programs out there, some grant writing and so forth. Really requires you to have strategic plans, and if I wanted to. Or the city wanted to apply for certain grants nowadays that require strategic plans, I don't have anything to present for that. So that's just one more reason why we need to do this, but I just think we need to do this for our community and really find out. What direction this council wants our community to go through feedback from them. I mean, we've just experienced, our community saying they don't want certain things with a certain intersection in town. But, it's left us with what direction do we take now, which I'll touch on here in a minute. But that's just a small little example of, okay, let's engage our community. Let's see what they have to say and where they want to see us go. Besides just one little intersection. So,
And it's not just the grant either. Yeah, it's something that we can kind of look through that lens in all of our discussions. Does this fit with where we landed on the strategic plan? And I mean, not that we'll fully follow it to a T, but there'll be a nice point of reference to frame our discussions.
which just gives us guidelines. I mean,
Yeah.
right now we're all
Right.
trying to
Yeah.
point the ship in the right direction, and some people wanna,
Right.
go their own way and stuff like that, and some citizens as well, and at least we can say, hey, we agreed that we're going this way, along with if this or is that, and
I'm sure there'll be some good conversation amongst you during this process.
Oh, I'm sure.
If we all agree right off the bat, it won't be any fun.
So
So,
wasting money. No.
and we'll, yeah,
I just think it's good, because then all the
Do the
money we
survey.
spend will go towards a common goal versus willy-nilly here or there. Yeah,
I wanna say, I don't have those notes with me, but I wanna say it's a mailing. And we're going to have to put forth some effort to, you know, engage and ask our community to fill it out and.
Right, I think that money might be well spent.
yeah,
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
so,
Right.
you know,
I was just
I agree.
concerned of how it was gonna be out there, because, you know, if you only put it out there, say,
Right.
on Facebook, then you're only reaching so many
Right.
people.
Right,
I don't remember, what is the cost of it besides the 5,500?
It's right, it ranges, there's a small range. Let me get through it here.
like between 21,000 and 22,500 or something,
That's with the option, it's like 14,600
15,400, right?
to 15,400 and then an additional 51 or 5,500. Been a couple days since I reviewed it, so. So total cost, it might be $24,000. Not even that. My math is.
And you're thinking, we've never done this?
Not a specific strategic plan, so it's, yeah, 15,400 to 16,900 plus a 5,500 for this community survey, so at most. 22,300.
Did they give you the examples, Brian?
I think
of
the
last ones
council
that-
at Holland tried to do something at one time or other, but.
One of the old, the old councils used to get away for a 3-day weekend. Do any of you guys remember that?
Why?
The councils.
That's been
Council
a
went
while
away
ago. I
for a
remember
3-day
that.
weekend, and that was part of a strategic planning session or whatever.
Yeah, it was done in-house a few times.
Yeah, but our meetings will be weekday evening meetings. I don't think we're gonna do any Saturday.
Right, did you see the past examples that they've done for other towns, or did they offer you any kind of?
No, I did not get any specific examples. I just know that they do a lot of work. The Illinois County City Municipal Administrators Association is ran through this office as well, and when I contacted them they gave me a few referrals, but this one seemed to be made the most sense. Because it's a not-for-profit, otherwise you get some consultant firm in here that just want to,
Yeah.
unfortunately, just milk us for money.
Yeah.
This is,
Cheap grad school labor or something.
right.
Yeah.
So that's just information,
What are we looking for? Just
this is
on
just
the
information.
agenda?
No, this is just for your information tonight. I hope to have it on the agenda at the next meeting for your action. And if that goes well, if you approve it at some point, it would start about February. With the process here. That's all I have for that topic.
Okay. On the number 2, capital plan, street and water infrastructure, pages 65 and 66.
Nothing new here. I just kind of kept it on here in case there was any comments or discussion, but I really have nothing more to add at this point.
I got a question. After we pay for Main Street, how much money do we have left yearly to spend on capital improvements? I thought at one time we were down to about, we only had 100,000 left.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
tax
more
rolls,
fuel tax.
yeah, but our tax rolls came in higher, remember, Harvey? We were budgeting when we first started that conversation at 200 for our 1 cent sales tax, but then, you know, during the pandemic, we hit, I want to say 270. Our tax rolls were a lot higher than when we first had that conversation about. And so, yeah, it was gonna be 100 out of 200, but now I feel like the Main Street was like, well, I don't know if we're paying 120 or something for financing in that, but I feel like we're closer to 300,000 a year that we could use for roads, if that sounds right.
Well, I can get you exact numbers, but I'll just give you general numbers tonight. So the motor fuel tax, we only take in about 160,000 a year. And between some other things that we pay for out of that fund, like the Main Street loan and salt and some street lighting, a portion of it, we have less. We have about 30,000 to play with a year. That fluctuates. One year might be a little better than the next, with fuel, and where people buy their gas. But, the 1%, the sales tax, the 1% sales tax for road improvements is where we, collect about, on average, about 260,000 a year. And that's been, building, right now, we have about 760, well, you're 754, thank you, treasurer.
400 spoken for, Brian.
But about 300 is spoken for the bridge, so we're building a little fund there, to do a project. But that's kind of where we're at, but probably I can get you more specific numbers.
Well, one time we was talking, we only had 100,000 used left after we paid for Main Street, and I don't know if there's anything else we're paying.
Yeah,
You know
salt,
why,
we
Mark?
pay our salt out of that.
You know why? Because I feel like when we were having those conversations, we weren't talking about the motor fuel tax as much. We were just looking at it by that 1 cent sales tax, which again was around 200 then. We were thinking of, and so I don't know if we were earmarking that.
Well, there's not
fuel
much
tax or
left of
something.
motor fuel tax left after we spend it for all.
Well,
that.
I didn't realize we were gonna use it to,
Pretty well
to
used
make our
up.
payments for the Main Street. I thought that was coming from the 1 cent. And, you know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
I will confirm that.
Yeah.
Because I went through all that, but you know.
And that doesn't really matter, I guess it's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just remember not really talking about it in the context of the motor fuel as much as.
Well, the way I look at it, from what I've got in my head, figures are, there's no possible way we'll ever do for another 30 years, do East and West Main Street. That's
Not a
over
million.
$3 million.
I thought you said 100,000 a year was what we were gonna be able to expect from the 1% tax.
No, we
Yeah,
got,
well,
we
that
got
was
more.
2 weeks
We
ago.
got more.
No, we get average 250, 260.
Well, that's different.
That's how long it took us to do Main
We
Street.
gotta pay for Main
200
Street,
when I started talking about it.
what we borrowed for 30 some years.
I can,
That comes off the top.
yeah, I can put some more specific
Yeah.
numbers for you together on that. It's just the motor fuel tax. There's just not a lot extra there after we pay our normal maintenance expenditures a year out of that. So, but like I said, I can get you some more specific numbers and clarify that with you.
But your point, Harvey, that whatever numbers we find are not gonna be enough to do that
Right.
East and West Main Street. I mean, we know that, it's not that much in there.
Right.
That's a problem.
That might be a discussion down the road. That we consider looking at another bond, I don't know. Part of those projects will be water infrastructure. That will pay a portion of the road restoration, but not nearly a significant amount of the road construction. That will kind of bail us out of the project, so to speak. We'll have to find the money otherwise.
Well, you can bond all you want, but you still gotta figure out a way to pay for it.
Right, right.
For sure.
We just can't ignore it.
So
We got what, another 12 years?
we might have to for
Pay
30
another
years.
2035.
Should have been done
34, 35, yeah.
In time for a pool, Kevin.
So,
We'll see where the strategic plan takes us.
well, that's a part. Reason for it.
Yeah.
So I guess we municipalities don't qualify for, that federal infrastructure, $2 trillion there.
Oh, we do, but we only got 564,000, and we're using that for a Waterloo down on, well,
A tag football.
no,
field
no,
or something.
no, we're using that for water infrastructure improvements down. Connected by Old GE and Larch Street and Moore Street. That is part of, phase 5. Potentially, so.
So what's the date that you're gonna meet with the engineer for?
IDA,
Yeah.
this Friday, morning we'll meet with them.
Is it gonna be just the two of you and the mayor?
The mayor and I, and, Representative Brad Fritz and the regional engineer and I believe 2 of his assistants or engineers. So,
Any other discussion? All right, move on to number 3, Genesee Street and Lincoln Way intersection improvement plan.
Yeah, I think we're done discussing that, aren't we?
oh, well, no, not really a lot to do tonight. I just wanted to update you on the project, sorry. That we're still moving forward, it's in a little different direction to still look at making improvements in that intersection. To include, I don't think there's any debate about sidewalks, curbing, drainage, that sort of thing. But I'm working on more information and, an option or 2 about some improvements to the traffic signals, because if we do maintenance and improvements to the traffic signals without replacing them, IDOT will reimburse us 50% as long as we jump through their hoops,
Really?
like we would have to do anyway. So, yes, the morning after the last meeting, I spent quite a bit of time on the phone with, the traffic signal guy over at IDOT, and I learned a lot. So we're looking at, some options there still. It's just I don't have anything for you, nor will I probably in the next couple meetings. But we are still moving forward with something. We're still gonna do something, I hope. I hope you guys decide to do something with that intersection.
Brian, did you also ask, I know it kept coming up. So that's interesting with maintenance, because I thought we were fully on the hook with maintenance, but, did you find out if they ever need to be replaced, who's on the hook? That's the state or the us?
I asked that question, and because if they fail and we're aware of them, but we neglect them, then it's our responsibility, and IDOT can essentially implore us to replace them.
If we didn't do our part in maintenance?
Right, and
Okay.
because we are responsible for the maintenance of them until they decide to replace them themselves, we're on the hook for them.
But when they deem them replaceable and it wasn't our fault that we broke them, they will pay for it. That's what you're
When
saying.
they deem it necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
That's why, as we get into this conversation, more active conversation with the regional engineer about Route 30. That's intersection certainly comes into play.
Right, and we can tell we talked about the 2 different ages of those lights. There's the old yellow ones,
Yes.
and then there's the much newer ones.
Newer, 3.
Was it? Yeah. Well, I guess
That's
relative,
the newest.
relative to the other ones. they're
That's the
newer.
newest stuff, anything at that. We might have some new potholes in that area, but not anything newer than 83. So,
Well, either maintenance of those, or even if they are replaced, that's an opportunity then to look at the traffic flow and how to change the lights, change the way people go these ways.
Right.
That'll be something to discuss.
That'll be part of looking at the options of what we can do to improve.
Yeah.
The traffic signals. So. That's it, that's all I had.
Okay, before we close, any other questions want answered or questions you might want to ask? All right, get a motion for adjournment. Second move. Adjournment. Very, very.